While this podcast may discuss medical issues and at times answer or discuss listeners' questions, this podcast is not offering any individual medical advice, nor meant to substitute for individualized professional medical treatment or advice. So please remember that all content is for informational purposes only. And please consult with your own healthcare provider for your own issues and diagnosis. If you think you may have a medical emergency, do the right thing and call your doctor or go to a local emergency room or call 911 immediately. Never delay seeking individualized help for a problem based on something discussed here. Take care of yourself. You're worth it. Man, do I love that mouth organ. Is it called the mouth organ, Travis? This is my engineer and producer who wrote that song, and they call it the mouth organ or the not the Jew's harp, because then I would own it.
It's not a Jew's harp or a Jew's. It's a mouth harp. I don't know why you keep saying organ with it. Mouth organ.
Organ. Well, maybe because I'm lonely, and maybe you should just stop judging me. Could that be?
No judgment.
Listen,
no judgment zone.
I really thought it was a mouth organ. At least that's what the priest told me.
We're gonna let you call it that, though, Brad. This is your show. You can do what you want, man.
Well, it's not going to be my show for long. I'm sure you've heard. We're selling it to no, boy. You know, this has been really. What are we in this? About 3 months? 13 shows, something like that?
Yep, we started. This would be the 13th episode. Yep.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you remember, but when this airs, this will air on November 2nd. And you know what that means? You will be what? Let me hear it.
One day closer.
One day closer to living in America again, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm worried. I am worried. But we're voting. I voted 3 times, one in each county that I've had. Boy, this is going to be it's going to be an interesting time. It's going to be an interesting time. There is no cure-all. There is no fast fix. Crossing my fingers that we can get our Democrats or Democrats, getting Biden and Kamala back in, but they got work to do. And, you know, we're still going to be stuck in a society with a lot of people that are going to miss Captain Marmalade, you know, that dig that authoritarian, tyrannical rule. And there are going to be, so, you know, it's not going to fix I saw the Borat movie. Did you see it?
I haven't. We looked at it, and Deb and I are probably going to queue it up tonight.
Yeah, I don't think Deb should see it.
No,
I'm just thinking it's a little. Well, you know what? You know, she's hysterical stand-up. She'll dig it. I think he's a genius. I can't believe what he goes for and what he pulls off. Some of it was cringy, but you know, I dig that stuff. But even for me, some of it was like, gosh, I would have gotten out of that 5 frames ago. But genius, funny, different than the first one. And when you're done watching it, you know, I mean, I did laugh a lot, and I think he's incredible.
How does he continue to trick people? How do people not know it's him, though? That's what I want to know. Different
disguises. He goes to different disguises. It's a lot of Borat, but which is funny. And he has this actress, I don't know if she's Yugoslavian or Russian, who plays his daughter, who's brilliant. But you know what you think about most at the end of it is how messed up this fucking country is. Because, you know, he taps into the stuff that he makes fun of that people buy into. The racism, the xenophobia, the homophobia, all the things that are haunting us. And so, but it's worth it. And also Chicago 7, I saw that with Sacha Baron Cohen as well.
Yes, we saw that as well. Yep.
The guy's got some dramatic chops. The guy's a talented actor. The whole cast was amazing. The whole cast was amazing. So speaking of amazing, we're going to bring in our first guest. This woman, I met her briefly because she is a therapist for the Ed Asner Family Center, which is an incredible foundation that I'm involved in once in a while in raising funds. I'm a huge Ed Asner fan. He has no idea who I am, but I'm a bigger fan of therapists and getting help, and that's what No Prisoners is about. No Prisoners meaning just, break through your bullshit. We all have it. Let's try to get help. So we're going to be joined by Chrisa Sadd, who is a licensed marriage therapist since 2006 and also involved with the Ed Asner Family Center. So Miss Sadd, Chrisa, how are you? Welcome.
Hi, Brad. Thank you so much for asking me to be on the show.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you here. You're only the second person to say yes.
Well, I'm glad I said yes.
Thank you for being with us.
I just want to say thanks too, and I know you know Matt Asner and his wife Nava, and Matt and I and everyone at the center wants to say thank you so much for all that you've done for the center and your participation. And last year, I think you got the chance to roast Ed at his 90th.
Yes, I did roast Ed. Didn't go great. I was hoping it would go better, got a little tangy, I think, but there were so many funny people there. And, he was really, really one of my comedic heroes growing up, because I used to, of course, a huge Mary Tyler Moore fan. And then when I saw him in Lou Grant, I was like, hey, maybe a big, loud Jewish guy can get into this business. So he was inspirational. It's just amazing. Tell us about the Ed Asner Family Center and what they do.
Well, I love what your opening says, your sort of informational opening. You said your last line is that you matter and everyone matters. And so Matt and Nava, the founders of the center, have 3 autistic sons on the spectrum. And Ed has a son as well on the spectrum. So really what was happening is that we were involved in various charities, and we were seeing such a need for specific things that weren't happening in our community. Mainly, there was no therapy that was really geared for the family and the special needs individual. So most of the time, these services were sort of not present. It was really hard to find. So Matt and Nava said, why don't we just do our own thing? Why don't we offer fun classes and have inclusion for all special needs individuals and their families? So they like to say that they're a one-stop shop. So we also provide services to the parents, to the siblings, because a lot of times, parents of kids with special needs don't take care of themselves. They don't have self-care.
Yes.
Divorce rate is high. Finances are, being drained. So we like to offer fun classes, art classes. We had voiceover classes, and then I'm the director of mental health. So, you
have your hands full there.
Really, I do. And but you know what? It's wonderful because the word's getting out. We've been open for about a year.
That's it? You've only been open a year?
Yes, we've been open a year. But
already doing amazing things.
It's been such a tough road, Brad. I mean, I call it the old days before the pandemic hit. Yeah. Our doors were open for maybe 6 months, and then we had to come to a screeching halt. And we're a charity, so we were really trying to scramble to get everything online, which we did. We have a lot of online content, but we're starting to open back up again. And we actually ran a camp this summer called Camp Ed for individuals with special needs. And we did it safely. We're COVID friendly. We had someone donate a lot of PPE stuff, and we have plexiglass, and we have a lot of precautions that we've taken to make sure that everyone's safe and that could come back to the center, not just be in front of the computer.
Well, there's obviously a lot of kinds of special needs. So you actually cater to whatever challenges these families are having with special need children. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, correct. But mainly autism, but we have just recently partnered with Down Syndrome LA. So we had in February, that was our last hurrah. We had an awesome Valentine's Day dance where everyone got dressed up, and we had kids with Down syndrome. We had kids on the autism spectrum, people with different disabilities. And we had almost 200 people there and their families. So we want to include siblings, families, individuals.
Right.
So we have a lot of really great stuff going on. But, more than that, though, the need is so great right now because everyone's so isolated. I'm sure you're hearing a lot of that as you're interviewing people. And it's really hard for special needs kids to be parked in front of the computer all day. They have lots of energy. They want to get out. So we are offering telehealth sessions, but it is quite difficult. So we have a really large family room that we can offer special autistic individuals or special needs to come in and safely be seen in person.
Okay. And how many therapists work with you, Chrisa, at the center?
We have a team of 5.
Okay.
Supervising 2 interns, and then we have a couple licensed clinicians. But what's really cool is that, and Brad, part of this too is that not a lot of therapists are trained in how to work with individuals with autism because there's such a huge spectrum.
Explain the spectrum to us, because a lot of people like myself are not that clear. You hear autistic, the spectrum is quite varied, I'm sure. We had a guest on a pal of mine who is autistic, who came on and spoke with us, and she was kind of giving us a little window into her world. Explain the spectrum to us if you can. I'm sure it's quite detailed, but
so the spectrum is, we used to say high functioning, low functioning, verbal, nonverbal, but we've really fine-tuned it a lot, and we've heard from people on the spectrum that say, I don't really like that being called that. So we've sort of shifted our language. We're very mindful about being right on with how they feel, what they want to be specifically defined as. But basically, we're saying differently abled. So everyone is differently abled.
I like that.
So, but there are some individuals that might use assistive technology like an iPad to communicate. And then there's others that are very, very enthusiastic to tell their story and to talk. So we focus on thoughts and feelings and how to, change behavior, or how to, have a better relationship with their friends and their parents. So my specialty is I love working with young adults on the spectrum. So a lot of times we do 18 and over social mixers where these individuals want to learn how to date. They want to get job skills. They just want to have the life that we all are living.
This brings me to one of my favorite shows that I've seen in the last year called Love on the Spectrum.
Yes, exactly.
What do you think of that show? I think it's astonishing.
Beautiful. I cry every episode. I'm just like,
me too.
Right. So amazing that you're talking about it, because we've actually joined with several agencies in the Los Angeles area, and we are starting our own Dating 101 life coaching. Dating coaching. And God willing, when we get out of this lockdown pandemic, that we can have these social mixers. These individuals, this is all I hear in my private practice, is that they just want to have a romantic relationship and they don't know how to do it.
Do all of them at that age or the age we're talking about, do they all want to have it, do you think?
I think there's a desire, but I think that some people have an awareness that they might be different. And I think innately as humans, we all want connection. We all want love and belonging. We all want to feel a sense of it, however it shows up in our life.
Yes. So true. So true.
sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. After you. No, please.
There's neurotypicals, which is supposedly what I am. I'm a neurotypical individual. But even me.
What does that mean?
So that's kind of a phrase that I don't have. I'm not on the spectrum.
Okay.
So I don't have autism.
Okay.
So the neurotypical individual that my brain works sort of typically in the way that everybody else does.
Well, I'll be the judge of that. But you know, people I hear are diagnosed with autism at different times in their life. Does that have to do with possibly where they are on the spectrum, that you would know earlier this person is, you know, definitely autistic? Then some people start talking later in life. Some people have shyness issues. Is that where the spectrum and comes into play? I mean, when can you usually tell if a child is autistic?
Well, there's excuse me, diagnosis by the age of 3. I think that's really more of the, excuse me one second.
Sure.
Around old is when usually a child gets diagnosed. And just to give you some statistics, 1 in 54 children in the United States are diagnosed with autism, and 1 in 34 boys is diagnosed. So, but mainly at 3, you start to notice developmental milestones. So if your kid's not really developing typically, then you know, you start to wonder, is there communication? Is there shared enjoyment? Is there various things that the child's not developing? So, and then as you grow older, there's some kids that get diagnosed around 7 or 8 because they have sort of more repetitive sort of, they get stuck on specific things. Like they just want to talk about everybody loves Raymond all the time. Right.
Right. I would like their phone number. If you could, anybody. You know, it's funny. I did this. I was a speaker. It was done virtually because it was actually a couple months ago for a theater university for autistic students in Sacramento. And it was really amazing. And they were so much into, I mean, you know, they knew everything that I was involved in, all the voices. They were very much into film and animation. And they really, when they hone in on something, boy, they really hone in on it. And it was just fascinating to get to talk to them about writing and directing and things like that. What causes autism?
Well, they still really don't have specific, you know, diagnosis that, I'm sorry, sort of an understanding. I mean, there are a lot of gene testing. They do feel that at some point, maybe older fathers that had children later in life might have had something to do with it, but also pollution. I think they're doing a test.
Really? Pollution,
environmental pollution. Yeah, these are just little things that I've heard.
I've heard that. I've heard that too. In vitro, or when they're young and they're around it, or when the mother is carrying. You mean at that point?
I think that you might have to have a predisposition to a DNA fracture, and then something triggers it. Because, but it's interesting that it's usually around 3 or 4 years old. So I'm not sure really. I really focus on providing sort of an awareness of how we can make their lives great. What are their goals? Where do they see themselves? How do they want to, what kind of a life do they want to have? So I kind of bypass a little bit of like, how did this happen? And then I go into what can I do to be of service as well. When I started my internship, the only things that actually paid were working with children. And I said I never wanted to work with children. I just wanted to work with adults.
Do you have children?
Well, you could say maybe I have 18.
18. Okay. All right. I hear that.
I see 18 clients a week. So
now, is that how many people can actually service at the Ed Asner? Like 18 families, 18 individuals at a time, or
no,
is
more.
no?
Yeah.
So how can we? There's 5 clinics, you said?
5 clinicians.
5
5
clinicians.
therapists. Yeah.
Travis, let's put up the info for the Ed Asner and also for the center. Now let's now. Anyone in need, I'm assuming, is not turned away. Correct? How do you handle it when so many people need help? Because so many people feel they're not going to have space or they're going to be turned away. What is the reality of that?
Well, it's really tough out there right now, Brad. My private practice, I take insurance and I'm getting calls all the time. I have to turn people away at my private practice, but at the center, we also take insurance, and we're getting a lot of calls, thank God. And we don't want to turn people away. So we do take some insurance, but then, we're a charity. So we don't want to turn people away based on their finances. So we offer a sliding scale. So I'll work with the individual. And because of the charity, we're able to underwrite some of the cost for their therapy. So we slide pretty low. But right now I'm doing placement with the phone calls come in, and then I kind of get a little bit of the story, and then I might place them with a client, a therapist. So, pretty soon I might be, hiring more therapists, because we really have a huge need right now. Everybody, whether you're on the spectrum or not.
Oh my gosh. It's been, and I know that your specialty is marriage counseling. Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling that after the COVID and the quarantine, I think the divorce rate is gonna hit the ceiling. I mean, it's got to be difficult. And when you have a special needs child, the tension, the stress, everything just surmounts and gets to a point that it's almost intolerable. So thank goodness for people like you.
Thank you.
And you seem to have such a great heart. I have so many questions about marriage, but I will stand in line. And what would you like people to know right now that are really struggling during this pandemic?
Well, what's interesting is we were locked in for a few months thinking that was going to be it. So at the beginning of this pandemic, it was very fun, little bit of fun. Maybe I can get to my to-do list. I can clean out that closet that I've always wanted to. And then the reality of it hit, and how serious things have been. And so I think people start to really get into some self-reflection, and they really start to look at what makes them happy, and what kind of career do they want? Is this something they want to do the rest of their lives? And so really what we're doing a lot of assessment is fear and anxiety have come up. What if scenarios? What if I get sick? Some people have lost family members during the pandemic, so a lot of grief and loss. But I think what's really the takeaway here is we're sort of given a pause to really look at our lives and see what we want and where we want to go moving forward in the future. And, I heard you and Travis talking a little bit about the election.
Yes.
I have so many people on different sides, right?
Yes.
But what I've been saying is that you can create the life you want, and we have to try to.
We have to more so and more so. Because we're going to have to create a life.
Because the outcome.
Yeah, because the government's broken. No matter who gets in, the government's broken.
We got to we got to love each other, and we really have to help each other as on this planet, gay, straight, whatever color you are, whatever it is. And we have to help the planet as well. And so just really, really coming from a place of calm and grounding, and believing in possibility and openness to all people, and that's what I try to teach and bring up into my sessions, so that whether you're on the spectrum or not, that we're all in this together. And I really try to, we're all a part of this planet.
Yes. And self-care, I think right now, which is always missing. I think, I think we all struggle with self-esteem. I would probably say that's one thing. No matter who we are, we struggle with self-esteem.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is that allowed?
You can ask me anything. I will answer anything.
Well, I just thought, when I first met you and you said, oh, I'm doing a mental health podcast, a show.
Sure.
And so I'm just really curious, like, what inspired you to really want to provide this forum for people?
Well, I've had a lot of experience with addiction. I'm 23 years sober, still angry, but working on it. I've been in therapy for going on 50 years on and off. Not sure if it works, but it saved my life. So my parents suffered from mental illness. My father was bipolar. My mom was manic depressive, unfortunately. And through my sobriety and my addiction and my fears, I suffer with depression on and off. I just felt it was something that enough people weren't really talking about.
Yeah.
And I like to look for mental wellness, to try to find them. We all struggle, no matter who we are. And many of it comes from the hands we're dealt, that we have there's just how we get through it. Some of it's environmental, nature or nurture. I still battle that. I still think, I used to think it was all nurture when I was a young, naive father. And when I was raised, and my parents loved me very much, but they had a ton of baggage. And my dad had 6 marriages and my mom had 3. And there was a lot of dysfunction, but there was a lot of love too. But there was a lot of codependence and there was a lot of manipulation and guilt and all that shit. So I'm still navigating that. And I just felt that if we could get people like yourself and my next guest coming up, Shirley, people that take that next step of, we have to find our base of gratitude. If we find our gratitude, I think we can help. We can help these other people out there, either through our experience or just, strapping on a pair and just doing the right thing and helping. And I think compassion and empathy is something that is so much more elusive in our society than it ever has been.
Yes. Yeah. And, that's really lovely that you found this avenue at this point in your life and that you're very passionate about it. I do feel that gratitude and mindfulness is very important. And I try to teach mindfulness to my special needs clients and their families too. But there are some serious things out there too: the depression, the anxiety, the self-doubt, the negative talk. We can get really stuck in that. So I think just getting opportunity to be heard and to be seen and that someone's going to show up for you is very important. But we all want love and belonging, and we all want to feel a sense that we have value.
Yeah, we do. And thank you for the amazing work you do. Travis, let's put up there one more time how they can get in touch with Chrisa or the Ed Asner Family Center.
Right.
And also, it's very, very tough. I know many people are struggling, especially financially during this time. Whatever you could send, whatever you could find, to open up the wallet, open up your heart, whatever you could send, because at the end of the day, we hold on to our gratitude, knowing one thing: there are people that have it worse off than us. And there are. So thank you. My love to Ed and everybody involved. And please come back again. If I'm not canceled, love to have you.
Thank you.
Chrisa Sadd, everybody. Be well. Stay well. Oh boy, this is a podcast of powerful, bright women, which brings me into, I'm such a fan of this gal as I started following her Instagram, and boy, she preaches it like it is, and I can't wait to get to know her. Shirley Raines, everybody, is with us. Hello, Shirley.
How are you? It's so great to be here.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing well. Just came back from a very long and amazing day in Skid Row. So a little hoarse here, but it was an amazing day.
And you are the creator of Beauty2TheStreetz.
Absolutely.
And tell people exactly what that is, because it's phenomenal. Tell us about it.
Beauty to the Streets is a nonprofit that goes out to Skid Row and pretty much does like what we say. We bring beauty to the street. Beauty to the homeless is whatever they say. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm just fortunate that the homeless people of Skid Row behold things like hair and makeup and certain things that I behold as beautiful. So we take hair color out there. We color their hair. We wash it. We have braiders. We have barbers. We also take care of all their PPE needs for this pandemic we're going through. We cook, we do clothing.
You feed hundreds of meals a Saturday, correct, Shirley?
Yeah, we went over 600 people today. We ran out. It was just never ending. But yeah, and I cooked the side dishes. So I stayed up all night cooking in my house because I like them to have homemade things. So we brought the fried chicken from the store, but I cooked black-eyed peas with smoked turkey, string beans, mashed potatoes, and gravy. So they had an amazing meal. We picked
Honey,
up
send some of that to the big Jew over here. Will you send some of that? I need some soul food in my life. I am just, I'll tell you. Honey, how did you get, you have so much compassion, and I love how you call all of our people on the streets king and queen.
Yeah.
I love that. And you have this compassion that I see in you that goes really beyond wanting to help, wanting to pay it forward. Yeah. You have a connection. Can you tell us how you have that and why?
I have a connection because I'm broken. I broke many years ago and my son died. I have 6 kids, 5 living. And my son died when he was 5 days from his 3rd birthday. And this was about 30, we're going on 30 years now, but it feels like yesterday. I never got therapy for it. It was great listening to your previous guest.
Why didn't you get therapy for it, do you think?
Because in Black families, we prayed. We prayed the pain away.
Does it work?
Prayer is meant to have a comma behind it and not a period. Prayer and. So it doesn't work alone. Prayer, comma. But we're taught that it's prayer, period. So I was taught with the prayer, period. And so it didn't work for me. There's a lot of guilt I held on to. I came down with panic and anxiety disorder really, really bad. I'm currently on Prozac, my 2nd year of Prozac.
How is that working? How is the Prozac working for you?
Amazing.
Good.
I'm an advocate for mental health. I believe in taking what you need to get to where you need to be. The Prozac has definitely allowed me to go out in my community and do what I need to do. No more of the rapid heart rate, jumping up in the middle of the night. Nothing is 100%, but it's certainly given me the clarity so I can unpack some of the baggage that I'm holding on to that's creating the anxiety. Because I realize some of the stuff I'm holding on to. And my broken pieces, I used to wake up every morning and go, God, why me? But now I know why me, because all my broken pieces made me perfect for the streets. That's why I'm so passionate about it. That's why I'm so connected, because I am broken just like them. I just so happen to live in a house. I just so happen to have a car, but I'm mentally ill myself. I'm considered in the mentally ill category, but people don't see that. They see what I want them to see. They see the makeup. They see the big earrings. They see the loud talker. They see the tell it as it is gal, but they don't see the broken pieces inside that I masked behind all of this.
Would you share any of that? Is that something that you're able to, you shared it with me. I'm pretty much a stranger. The broken part is so healing for so many, including yourself. Is that something you freely share?
I have started freely sharing it since I started my nonprofit. I realized a way to heal was getting it out. And I realized that no one can learn from a closed book. I've had some very tumultuous chapters in my life, but I think as I show them to people and I can help people, I also feel a sense of, I wasn't able to save my son or help my son, but maybe, just maybe, by sharing that tragedy and the pain that I endure, I can help somebody else's child. I can help somebody else's husband or somebody else's wife, or or something like that. So I think I do share it. I'm more open to sharing it now because I feel like the stigma of being ashamed has gone. Like I lost the shame. I used to feel ashamed, embarrassed. I lost my child. I have anxiety disorder. I have to take medicine. Shame.
May I ask how old you were when you lost your son?
I was about 21 years old. I was 6 months pregnant with my oldest daughter. The plan was to kill myself and be done with this, leave her with my husband. And, because I was so upset about the loss of my son and broken, but I didn't want to take the life that was in me. So I said, well, when I have her, this is what I'll do. Before I can even get to that point, I just fell into a really dark place that I couldn't pull myself out of. And I lived there for a long time. a long time, but it looked like rage. It looked like anger. It looked like an attitude problem. It looked like the people at Skid Row. So when people are like, they're mean, they're this, they're that, I'm like, no, they're not. They're broken, because they remind me of myself when I was in that stage. So now I can look at them and go, baby, who broke you? Why are you acting like that? You don't have to be this way. You know what I mean? So I recognize the pieces in them that's in me. And I think that's why that's what people see as passion. It's authentic, it's organic. And my pain led to my purpose, and my purpose led to my passion. So I feel like I went in that order.
My God, you are unbelievable. What is the stigma? Because I have to be honest, I didn't know about it until you just told me. What is the stigma of therapy and African-American people? Because you said there's something does it show a weakness that you need therapy? Why did you say it seems to be something that Black folks don't normally tend to engage with?
I'm going to go back to generational curses. I think it's back in the day when we were slaves. The only thing we had to give us comfort was our Bible, and they told us about our God. We weren't allowed to read. So all we knew was that, when our women were being raped, or our men were being hung from trees, and our kids were being taken and sold from us, all we had was our God. There was no man to go talk to, because the man was doing this to us. They were oppressing us.
That's right.
So I think it's a generational curse where we never learn that we have to say, you know what, that there was a time when God was all we had, but now we have more. But that's not something that's taught. So my great grandmom, who didn't have therapy, told her kids about, God and religion, and it passed on. So now I'm the mom that's breaking that generational curse, and I'm telling my kids, let's go to therapy. It's okay. I think that's what it is.
I love that. My gosh, you are so inspirational.
Oh, thank you.
You are amazing. I've been looking forward to speaking with you, Shirley, because I see, I see the Instagram, which is just a snippet of your life, your Saturday life.
Yeah.
What is the biggest misconception that we have about homeless people, in your opinion?
That they did something to deserve this, that they're drug addicts and alcoholics. And I must say that when I went out to the streets of Skid Row, I have a twin sister. My sister Sheila was telling me, like, my son was born on September 11th and he passed away on September 6th. So September was set aside as my mourning month, every year. And my twin sister was like, you can't do this. You got to get out to Skid Row. You got to get out and do something with your life, and I was like, well, what am I supposed to do with all this pain? And through that process of trying to find myself, somebody asked me to go feed the homeless with them. And I went to feed the homeless. I went to take them clothing like we know they want. I went to take them, food like they know we want. And I was so enlightened with my first experience there, because I realized nothing that I'd been told was true about the homeless, society. The streets of Skid Row, I take care of a woman who has a PhD. I take care of a nurse who has schizophrenia. There are doctors out there. There are nurses. There are drug addicts, and there are alcoholics. But that's not what led to homelessness. It's what helps them cope with homelessness. And I think there's a huge difference, and people need to understand that you have to be under the substance of something. I've seen women shoo rats off their lap like you shoo away flies. To live in such circumstances, you have to be under something. So I think that a lot of people look at them and go, they did it to themselves. They're lazy. They don't want the help. You don't want to get off the street. They do want the help. They do want to get off the street, but that has become their life for so very long. They just don't know how. They lost themselves somehow.
And they've lost the hope. And we have a society and a government that, and I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, we are not taking care of our homeless. And the numbers, what are the numbers of the homeless in greater LA? Do you know?
LA County, over 66,000. And that's pre-COVID. Those are pre-COVID numbers. I'm terrified to know what 2021 is going to look like. So those are pre-COVID numbers. And so the population I take care of, Skid Row, there's about 8,000 in that area alone. And the resources are not there. The money is there, but it's not being allocated properly.
Where's it going?
Good question. Let's get the city on the phone. Good question. I know there's some very, really touchy topics we talk about today. I'm not scared of topics. I'm not afraid of anything. I definitely believe in this defunding the police department. I think it goes to the police department. I think that I equate it to a kid who cleans a house. If they don't do everything they're supposed to get, they don't get their full allowance. You know, you give your kids money based upon what they do in the home.
Right.
I feel like we need to do that with the police department as well. A lot of funding is going into new cars. A lot of funding is going into training on helping the police department interact with the community. Well, let's get the community off the streets, and then we can train the police officers how to interact with the community. Like, you know, there's so much money going in the wrong directions.
Yeah.
Even during COVID, just watching them left to die, you know, and then the money was there. You know, the masks were there, the hand sanitizers were there. Why aren't you helping this community? You know? Yeah. And that's why we don't ask the city for anything. The clippers that we take out there when we cut hair are charged in my home. The water that we use when we wash hair comes from my sink. I put it in bags and I drag it out in a wagon every single week. We don't ask them for any resources because they don't want to help. And so we just do it ourselves. And sometimes it takes the community to help the community. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. I don't want anything from them because they won't move, but just don't get in my way while I do move. That's all I ask. You stay out of my way, I'll stay out of your way, and we'll be fine.
How dangerous is it down there? Have you ever, because I know some people are afraid to help. They're afraid of disease. They're afraid of violence. They're afraid of, for people who want to volunteer. And I'm sure I'm sure you can, are you open to that? Do you ask for that? Or is it people you pretty much know that come to you, or what do you need?
No, we do have a waiting list on our website, Beauty2TheStreetz.org. We do take volunteers, and we always tell people exactly what the volunteers that we need. If we need it for hair, if we need it for makeup, if we need it for whatever the services are. I feel
like what I'm really good with, Shirley. I'm good at shaving people's backs. Anybody that need their back shaved, you know, because I grew up with a lot of Jewish women, a lot of back hair, honey. I don't have to tell you.
Can't say there's back hair, but I feel like if you could tackle back hair, you can probably tackle facial hair. I feel like you can do it. You know, I have hope in you.
Now, and this is coming from a privileged white guy, so I'm just telling you that to begin with. People that are afraid, you have your scissors, you have your shears, you're working on a homeless person. Do you have security? Do you need security? Are they just so grateful that everything's mellow? I mean, I saw like a couple people getting a little squirrely with you in a couple of your, you know, and you had to talk them down and tell them what time it is.
So, I always push back. I always push back.
I'm sure that motorcycle gang, and they seem amazing. I'm sure they're kind of the muscle you need there, right?
Well, the motorcycle club, which is Fighters for the World.
Club, not gang. Forgive me. Again, that's the white guy. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Motorcycle club, Fighters for the World, and Chosen Few come out. It's more or less to keep order. I feel like it was more dangerous for you to go in Costco at the beginning of COVID-19 than it was for you to go to Skid Row. The way these privileged people were fighting over toilet paper was a shit show. You know, excuse my language, but I'm like, I would have been more scared to go to Costco because these people were acting foolish, and they have money, they have houses. You know, just because you have materialistic items doesn't mean you have, know how to act. You know, so is it dangerous out there? No more dangerous than it is going to the mall. Would I lock my car in Skid Row? Yeah, I lock my car at home too, and I live across the street from the beach. That's a stereotype I want people to lose. It's not any more dangerous. There is a level of desperation out there. If you want to talk about desperation, there's a level of desperation out there. Yes, you may show it.
I saw you talking to a junkie through your window, and you were telling him, why do you do this to yourself? Don't do this to yourself, as you're giving him water, as you're giving him a mask, as you're giving him food. I mean, this is why I'm so, I mean, I've known a lot of people in my life. I've come across a lot of people, and you're probably one of the most Christ-like people I've ever met. And it isn't just what you do, but I can read people really well. It's your way. And I'm not a religious guy. I have a little trouble, to be honest, believing in the man upstairs. I hope that I'm more spiritual. I hope that I come from doing, but there's something about you. See, very few people walk the walk and talk the talk. And it's like you invented it when I watch you. When you were talking to this junkie, A, do you think you got through to him? And B, how do we get those people help with mental illness and addiction combined? They say, and I think this is a trope, which may not be true, but they do say clinically 70% of the people you would get off the street are going to go back because of issues that they're not ready to deal with. Is that accurate?
I think that's more than accurate. I do. When I was telling him, don't do this to yourself, I always think about myself. Like, all the pain I didn't do drugs and all that kind of stuff, but I definitely know I was self-abusing, be it by food, be it by drinking too much. I was definitely numbing. So when I see people like that, I'm not looking at what they're doing. I'm going behind the scenes and going, what are you trying to escape that's making you drink? What are you trying to say? So I was just saying, don't do this. Why are you doing this to yourself? You're killing yourself. My grandmother planted seeds in me for many, many years. And unfortunately, she was not here to see them manifest and grow. I'm not trying to stop him from doing drugs today. I'm trying to plant seeds in his head. Whether he's listening or not is getting in there. At some point in time, he's going to wake up and go, people keep telling me not to do this to myself. I should probably stop doing this to myself. I didn't think I was getting through, but I wasn't trying to get through at that very moment. I was just trying to let him know, I care about you. I love you. I recognize your pain. I got the same pain. But baby, you're killing yourself. This is just one page in a chapter of your life. I know the streets are hard right now, but you're killing yourself. And when things get better for your next chapter, your heart's going to not be able to handle it because you're doing these drugs. When he grabbed my hand through the car window, people think I flinched. I didn't flinch. I was surprised. So I'm like, oh shit, he's really listening to me. You know what I mean? I was just as surprised as everybody else that he was listening to me. When he grabbed my hand, I knew he was listening to me. And most of them know me down there. And I was born without a filter. I don't have a filter. I feel like I understand that you have a lot of pain. But suck it the fuck up, Buttercup. You don't get to have a pity party because this happened to you. I didn't have a good mom. I didn't have a good dad. You don't get to have a pity party. You don't get to be an asshole to society because life is hard for you. I went through that phase. I did that. You don't get to do that. I buried my child. I had a hard time too believing in the man upstairs after that. It was a lot of stuff I was going through, and I became a terror to society, and I recognized that with other people. And then you start self-abusing, and that's the alcohol. That's the drugs.
Was you self-abusing after the passing of your child, or did you have any of that before?
After. So I think I had survivor's remorse. So I picked men who were very abusive to me emotionally. Because
before you lost your child.
Oh, after I lost my child. Before I lost my child, I didn't do that.
You didn't do that. That was okay.
I didn't do that. So after I lost my child, I picked relationships that were abusive. I picked things that punished myself. I did. And people don't, we look at the facade. I'm covered with tattoos and piercings and people think it's cute. Everything I have was painful. I create pain in my life. I recognize that. I don't need therapy for that, baby. I can tell you that. The relationships I choose, the friendships I choose, they're like, did your lip piercings hurt? Heck yeah, but I create pain for myself because I've not yet forgiven myself. And I'm still in that place. And that's why I take Prozac. I'm still in it. I'm not healed.
It's nothing you ever get over. You never get over that loss.
And, you never get over it.
You can't. And I have a nonprofit I've had for 17 years. We assist families that have children that are terminal. And, I haven't gone down that, thank God. But with what you see, it's why I started this foundation, because I just can't imagine what you went through, and how you turned it to help thousands.
But I want it very clear. One thing I try to do through all of my interviews is let people know I am not whole. I'm not healed whatsoever. I just made a decision to change and focus on others and not myself. I'm still broken. It's okay to not be okay. When people say, oh, don't say you're broken. No, you hear it as a negative. This is the facts, baby. I'm broken, but it's okay. Broken glass is still good for something. It can't hold water anymore, but you can make some beautiful artwork with it if you're very creative. And I feel like the people in the homeless community are broken, and it's okay to not be okay.
How do you raise 6 kids in this day and age?
My kids are grown right now. I thank God because I don't know how I would do it right now. My mission in life is for no one to ever hurt like I hurt. So the way I talk to the homeless community is the way I talk to my kids. The homeless community is my bonus family. I feel like I'm at a place where it's too late to save Shirley. I didn't get the therapy I needed, unfortunately. I suffer from massive anxiety. I'm on Prozac. I'm too much of a coward to go try therapy at 52 years old.
Why though? But hold on. You're anything but a coward. You're one of the bravest humans ever. You know that. Why are you getting away from therapy, which is the holy grail to pain?
Because I feel like I won't survive it. Once I take the lid off of that pot, imagine keeping a pot with a low simmer for 30 years. Then you remove that lid, all kind of steam and smoke is going to come out and it may boil over. I feel like if I take the lid off, if I start talking about some of the deeper pain issues I have, I won't be able to put the lid back on and it'll create a big overflow and I won't be able to survive it. And then I live by myself. I'm not married. I have no one to come home to and cry. And I've already been in a suicidal place and I don't want to backtrack there. I don't feel like I'm strong enough to handle that. I barely made it to this point in my life. I feel like I'm stronger with helping people, but I'm not strong enough to help myself.
But you're so psychologically coherent and
I am.
you get it. I mean, like your gift, and it is a gift because you haven't done the thing. It's you get the human dynamic. You have experienced things that no one should experience, but you've turned it into gold. You don't see letting that cap off as self-care for you to where all of the abundance can come around for Shirley and thus even more for the people you're helping. You don't think that under that lid is, maybe it's a crock pot, baby. Maybe it's the best meat you ever had.
Oh, you say it like that.
Only because your heart and your brain, it's like, it's a different, then again, I go, well, maybe there is someone up there because it's all a gift. Mm-hmm. It wasn't handed to you. You had to earn it. But it's like you're such a strong woman. It's like you don't think it would get you to that next place of peace. There's more of the fear of what's under it.
It's probably a fear, but I'm sure you're right. I'm sure it's probably peace on the other side. And I know I have to take that journey at some point in time. And I'm always asking my kids to do it. I'm always asking my community to do it, and then I'm backing out myself. But I mean, I'm not open to it. It's just more of a little bit of fear. Like I'm more scared of that than Skid Row. People are like, are you scared of Skid Row? I'm like, I'm never scared around broken things. My God, I feel at home when I go to Skid Row. Like I leave my purse on the front seat. I don't even lock the car, and my team's like, lock the car. I'm like, oh yeah, well, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm not scared of broken things, but being whole scares me. It's really fearful. The process.
You deserve it. You deserve to be whole so much.
Oh, I would really love to be whole. I can't even remember what that was like. Even before losing my son, I had a rough life in the streets of Compton. I don't think I've ever had peace. And until I go to Skid Row, for whatever reason, it may be chaotic, it may be dangerous, but it's super, super peaceful for my spirit, super peaceful. I feel like I'm at home. I feel a kinship, and that's what people see. That's the authenticity that people feel and see. It's nothing I'm trying to do. I just feel like I met some extended family members, and I'm like, oh my God, this is where I should be for the rest of my life, and it literally is my passion. Absolutely my passion.
Yeah. Well, you can tell by the way you do it, and you do it like no one else. And it's so it's Beauty to the Streets. Let's put up all of Shirley's stuff, and hopefully I'll hold my shit together. This was emotional. This was emotional for me, and I thank you for that. How can we donate? Because my goodness, I don't know how you're doing it all on your own. Are people generous? Are people sending in stuff? How do we do it? Do we Venmo it? Do we pull up the website? How's it work?
You put up the website, and we have several different ways. They can Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. They can become monthly supporters through our Patreon. We also have an Amazon wish list too, with some of the most requested items for the homeless. You can purchase something from the Amazon wish list. It shoots over to me. There's tents and blankets, sleeping bags, wigs for the women, little cosmetic cases for the homeless children that are down there. The little girls get the little kitty makeup as well. So we have a whole, we try to make it easy. We just want the help, whatever it looks like. We do take clothing. A lot of people I know are stuck at home during COVID, cleaning out their closets. Go ahead and hit us up if you're local, and we have drop-offs, when we're in Skid Row, and we can take clothing because they absolutely need clothing as well. Anything people have to donate, we're more than happy to take it.
Can I ask what you do for a living? Are you in the medical field?
I was a medical biller for 26 years. I got laid off about a year and a half ago. I was doing both my nonprofit and this, and I decided to dive into my nonprofit full time. And so this is what I do. So I go out 3 times a week by myself, serving from the car window, which a lot of people see on my videos. And then I go every Saturday with my team. So I try to keep the connection to that 8,000 people in that populated area, so they know that no matter what. So some of them like lose blankets, they get robbed, and they're like, okay, it's okay. Shirley will be here like Wednesday or Thursday. We'll tell her, we'll ask her for stuff. So I try to keep that connection, let them know, what do you need? Come get it from us on Saturday. We're like an outdoor mall or Walmart for the homeless community. So when I go out during the week, I want to make sure we have what they need when they come on Saturday.
You know what's so incredible? Because you hear about food and shelter and blankets and water, but you give them that something they probably has been missing from their lives forever. And it's what I talked about with my last guest, self-esteem. Because we all care how we look, and they had to leave that aside.
Yep.
And you're giving them something that probably no one else is giving, but it's got to be so powerful for them to take that moment, not to just feel that they matter. Anybody could throw someone a sandwich on an off ramp, you know, but that you take the time and to help them with their grooming and their aesthetics. And I just love it. I think you're amazing.
Thank you.
And we're looking, I want to help support Beauty2TheStreetz. Anyone out there listening, all 14 of my people, honey, I look at your followings. I'm like, damn, I better get on this girl's lip, because she has people love it. And I see the people that follow and the people that, and you give us hope. We have lost hope in our society. Things are not different. I can't imagine for people of color what you're watching. You're going, here we fucking go again every week. And every week. And it's not changing. And I don't see it changing because it's systemic. And this wacko, who I'm sure won't be around long, has given these sickos a voice and a place to live and a place to be heard. And when he goes, if we're lucky enough, they're not going. Those people aren't going. So thank you for your courage and your help. And if you ever want to go to therapy, the first 5 sessions are on me. I am saying this with you. Pick whoever you want. Whether you have insurance, whether you don't, you pick because I'm going to tell you something. We need you. And you need you. You need you. And let me tell you something. Under that lid is a woman as beautiful and wonderful and brilliant. And we need more Shirley. And that's all that's under that lid. Because you talk about transparency and authenticity. Until you realize you do not deserve that pain, that you did not do anything wrong, until you get there full circle, you can't be there for you. I'm saying it with love. I went through it myself, not what you went through, but I'm saying my own self-hate. And I'm still working on it. But at the end of the day, we need you. And I'm sincere about that. You know how to get in touch with me. The first 5 are on me. I'm such a Jew. The first 5 are free. The first 5 are free. The next.
Thank you so much. I love you. My daughter was so excited. My daughter goes through my DM. She's like, Mom, Brad Garrett's in your DM. I'm like, I know. Do you not love him? We love you.
I love you
so much for reaching out.
And thank you for not talking to Raymond.
Oh my God. I love you.
You're the best. Give my love to your children. I'm going to bother you. First 5 are on me.
Thank you so much.
Be good to yourself. Thank you for what you do. I'm a native Californian, and my streets, and my daughter lives downtown. And I tell her, get out there, get your white ass out there and help out the real queen, baby. And she's like, I'm ready. We're all ready. We're going to join the list, and we're ready to, we'll just wait till we get the call, because not enough people can do this. And I'm bringing Travis too, because look at Travis. He looks at Travis. Look at Travis. He could be part of that motorcycle club. I love how you call it a club, Queen. I love that. It's a club.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to do it. Be good to yourself. Keep up the good fight.
I appreciate you.
Honored to talk to you.
I'm honored to be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, baby. You betcha. Wow. I married the wrong woman. When am I going to learn? I'm telling you. I need a sister in my life. Someone just to just tell me what time it is. And this little scrawny white girl I'm with, it's not working. It's not working. I want to thank Shirley. I want to thank Chrisa. Come on here, Travis. How incredible was she? Shirley is
an angel walking the face of the earth. I'll tell you right now.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
It gives me hope, and it makes me feel like, sometimes I go, I'm such a douchebag. What am I doing? Am I doing enough? Am I doing, I mean, I don't pay you anymore. That makes me feel bad. But you know what I'm saying, Travis. About that. I see. Listen, Shirley.
I can get into these conversations and see firsthand what's happening, and that's payment enough. Just knowing that we're making content like this, that with Chrisa and with Shirley, people can see that, because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking what you're thinking. Well, what the fuck are my little problems here? When I see real people out there doing real work like that, I got nothing to complain about.
The way she was talking to that addict, and she wasn't talking down to him, and it's on her Instagram. The Instagram is what? Beauty2TheStreetz, right?
Yeah, I'll put that info up again here.
Yes. I forgot, and I ended up putting in my Instagram, taking it to the streets by mistake, because I have no memory, and it was a bunch of white guys singing, and it was horrible. Yeah. So this is Beauty2TheStreetz, and but the way she was talking to this addict, it made me feel like, okay, we got to clone Shirley. Mm-hmm. We need about 42 million of her. And because this is the only thing that'll save this planet, because that compassion is what we need for our environment, for each other, for our people. Tomorrow there's going to be a new president. If not, you can look me up in Toronto, Canada, where I'll probably be living on a lake. And so again, thank you.
Vote. This is going to be out early enough that it's Monday.
You can still vote.
Get out and vote. We cannot just sit back and wait. Forget about what's happening with the polls and with the news. Don't watch that.
Right. Don't buy that. We bought that hype last time.
Yeah, we did.
And we ended up with, the orange turd. So we're going to learn from this. We're going to do what we can. Thank you, Chrisa. Thank you, Shirley. Both of you, just an incredible time. It's about self-care. And what I said, Shirley, I mean. So balls in your court, baby. Take care of each other. Remember, there's no health without mental health. You're worth it. Grateful for all of you. Bye-bye. While this podcast may discuss medical issues and at times answer or discuss listeners' questions, this podcast is not offering any individual medical advice, nor meant to substitute for individualized professional medical treatment or advice. So please remember that all content is for informational purposes only. And please consult with your own healthcare provider for your own issues and diagnosis. If you think you may have a medical emergency, do the right thing and call your doctor, or go to a local emergency room, or call 911 immediately. Never delay seeking individualized help for a problem based on something discussed here. Take care of yourself. You're worth it.